need to know you're the only one. Alright, alright. And you need to know that you keep me up all night, all night. Oh, my heart hurts so good, but I love you, babe, so bad, so bad. Yeah, my heart hurts so good, I love you, babe, so bad, so bad.
All right, everybody, happy hump day. Welcome back to another episode of Morning Coffee with your host, Rick Alexander. That intro music was provided by Brittany Taylor, and she is at Barbell Brittany on Instagram. She does nutrition coaching, a little bit of photography, and just a super inspiring entrepreneur and athlete to follow. I'm at Rick Alexander _ and at Lionheart Radio on Instagram. Most of you guys know I did a whole week last week about pivoting and jumping and choosing something else in life because I recently went into full-time entrepreneurship. And so if you're interested in some of the things that I have going on this week, I've been plugging this beta program as this airs. I'm not sure if it's full yet, but again, we're going to take 15 people and I'm going to offer this personal development program that really synthesizes a lot of the work I've done in the last year to help you figure out who you really are and what you really want out of your life. I've also written a book. It's called Burn Your Couch. You guys can support me that way. And then also, I do endurance coaching as well. That's like kind of how I pay the bills right now. I have a proprietary system that I've worked out to help people get through marathons and ultra marathons without excessive amounts of just sort of pounding the pavement. And so if you're interested in the endurance spectrum, hit me up there as well. I do one-on-one coaching and I have programs that I offer. All right, so today I wanted to talk about whether or not you have a mission in your life that you feel like you are driving toward. In old episodes, especially when I was getting ready for that run, I talked about my own personal mission and I talked about the importance of building a personal mission statement, sort of something that brings together what you want out of your life. And the reason we do that is because it gives us a framework to put other things in. And so if we figure out this is our mission, then when opportunities come along, we say, we know how to say yes to them, or more importantly, we can say no to them. One of the things that I always do is I say yes to way too many things. And then I find that some of these things are out of alignment with what I really want for my life. And when we do that, when we say yes to too many things, it kind of feels like we're always 2 inches below the surface of the water and we can barely get a breath, and we're always just trying to keep our head up, and we're not taking time to actually get ahead in life. And that is a really rough way to live for any kind of extended period of time. And so my question for you today is your life mission driven? Or is it issue driven? Now, if it's mission driven, that means that you know what you want out of your life. You have a mission for your life, and everything that comes along, your job, your hobbies, your relationship, they fit into that mission, and everything is sort of in alignment and moving in one direction. And if it's not, then your life becomes issue driven, which means you are constantly putting out fires. And so think about your work, think about your relationship, think about those two things mostly, but big projects that you take on, and your not just relationships romantically, but also your friendships. Are you always putting out fires? The problem is, if that is what you're doing with your life, if you feel like you're always reacting to something, you're always going to be that person that I mentioned earlier that is 2 inches below the surface of the water. It makes it really hard to get ahead in life when you feel like you are issue driven. And sometimes it just becomes a way of life and we don't even realize it. You know, I talk about this a lot in 2018, how we are constantly bombarded by inputs. So we always have notifications. We always are getting emails. We're getting text messages. We're getting calls. Our Instagram is going off and our Facebook is going off, and we become very issue driven just by happenstance because we live in a world which is always presenting something for us to deal with. Now, if you're mission driven, then what I would suggest to you is that you shut all of your notifications off. You think about your mission, and then you think about all of the things that you're doing in your life and whether they're in alignment with that mission or not. Same thing goes for relationships. Like, is your relationship producing what you want in life, or do you always feel like there's some drama that you have to take care of? Same thing with your friends. Like, sometimes we have to cut people out of our lives. We have to cut friends out of our lives because all we're ever doing is putting out fires. All we're ever doing is trying to keep the peace and trying to deal with situations which are, quite frankly, requiring all of our mental bandwidth, and we don't have any left for ourselves. Now, if you spend your entire life issue driven, if you prioritize everybody else before yourself, if you prioritize all the things that you have to take care of, that is one way that most people live their lives, and it's something you can do, but you have to come to terms with the fact that you're never going to feel like you're actually getting ahead in your life. You're never going to feel like you are accomplishing things, because essentially what's going to happen is years are going to go by, and instead of living on your timeline and doing the things that you want to do with your life, you are dealing with all of the things that everybody else wants to do in their life. And so I've talked about the importance of having a personal mission statement before. I think it's one of the most important things. It's one of the things that we're going to do in that course that I'm developing, in that personal development course, because it's such an important part of making sure that you are showing up in the world how you want to. See, when you have a mission statement, you're able to author your actions and the things that you do every single day, because it gives you clarity about what you really want out of your life. Now, on the flip side, like I said, if you are constantly dealing with everybody else and constantly not prioritizing yourself because you don't have clarity around that mission, then of course you're never going to feel like you're getting things done. And sometimes it's going to feel like maybe you're always like, well, when is it going to be my turn? Or when am I going to feel like I'm getting ahead? And, the universe always gives us what we want, but quite frankly, if we don't know what we want, how the hell is the world ever going to give it to us? And that's something that we need to think pretty seriously about, because you might feel like you're driving towards something, but if you haven't defined that thing and you don't have a mission for that thing, it's never going to happen. The world's not going to give you what it doesn't know that you want. And so you have to be sure to clarify that thing, to build a mission around it, and then also to put it out into the world in a way that is clear and concise, and then you can build metrics to know if you're working toward that thing or not. But if not, if you don't do that, then your entire life is going to become issue driven, because in 2018, like I said, there are so many inputs and there are so many people that are going to be vying for your energy and your emotional bandwidth, and pretty hard to say no when you don't know why you're saying no, because you don't have a mission, you don't have something to say yes toward, right? And that's the importance. It's like when you get in a relationship, what you're doing is you're saying no to everybody else. And so by saying yes to that person, it's an inherent no to everybody else if you decide that you want to be faithful to that person and you're going to be in a committed relationship. Well, when you have a personal mission, that's what it's like. You're saying yes to this dream, to this thing that you want to do in the world. And by doing that, you're inherently saying no to all of the other options. Now, if you don't say no to all the other options, you're going to end up in some pretty unsavory places. And anybody that's been single for any amount of time knows what those places look like. And so I don't even need to expound on those. But you guys get it. You have to say yes to something. It's got to be something important. It's got to be something in alignment with who you are and what you really want. And that will give you the power to say no to other things. If you are mission driven, you are going to be so much more effective in life than if you are issue driven. I hope you guys have a great middle of the week, and I will talk to you tomorrow on Morning Coffee.